I'm very lucky to be invited down to the Michelin factory to see the remix process in action. And this is where the process starts. Hi, how's it going?
Hello there.
Hi,
Nice
to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Let's see what you're doing here, like.
Well, this is the examination post. So
Right.
where we examine casings for any kind of anomalies and look for anything untoward.
How bad would it have to be for you to fully defect the tyre, like from this stage?
We basically have like certain tolerances and constancies we have to abide by, and this is where we look and find we don't know what we get from one side to the next. So first of all, we always start with the interior crown first, always. So as you see, there's an anomaly. A nail's been in that, as you see.
How can you see a nail? Oh, is it seen
Yep.
from the outside though?
Yeah.
Ah,
There's a nail in there, gone in there, which has caused the damage,
Oh,
as you feel.
that wee pimple
Yeah.
there.
So it has to be marked up, and then when the process on the other side gets checked, this tread will probably be taken off, and they see more than we do, and they will be put a repair on that.
that's a good set of eyes for that.
Oh yeah, we can get certain. It doesn't have to go straight through, but
You must
that's
find a
what we
lot of fibres on the ground, like walking down the street.
We do. we do. There's another damage there.
Oh, just in the
Yeah.
the lip.
As you see, as it opens there, all this will have to be repaired.
Is that just
So-
tyre lever damage?
Yeah, that's correct. Somebody's been a lever, they popped it open, as they've done it, it's split. So that has to be repaired before it goes back on the road.
I take it also by the style of tyre, if it's a construction tyre, you're going to know what to
Yep.
look for.
That's it.
And if it's a bus tyre, it's going to be curbed.
Correct. and plenty of nails too. We do the same for every single tyre we do.
Yeah.
It's the same method of work. And then we do with the inside of the casing. So we try to cover as much of the tyre as we possibly can with every rotation. As marking every damage we possibly see. We then put all the information into the system, all the things we found,
Yep.
which then prints a ticket out. That's examine a number, date, and that's the whole process of an examination. That's the first process.
How many tyres do you do in a day?
We
Average.
do approximately do between 90 to 100 a day. 95 to 100 a day.
Thanks very much
Yes,
for your time.
no
I really
problem.
do
Thank you very
appreciate
much.
it.
Yeah.
I'll catch you
Pleased to
later,
meet you,
mate.
yeah.
Cheers, mate. How's it going, mate? I'm Sandy.
I'm Paul, how are you?
Just get to see what your process was.
Basically, when the tyres have been through examination, they come to me. I feed them onto the machine. They go through the chambers on the machine to check for anything. All the information is on the computers, and I either pass them or fail them for whatever process.
So it's just like an internal, what the naked eye can't see type look into a tyre, like.
Basically, yeah. This can see what the examiners can't see.
Aye, so this is like proper X-ray vision, like.
Yeah.
Do you get tyres here and you're like, no, that can't be repaired at all, or does it go to the next process to be see if
No,
it can
I can actually,
defect it?
yeah.
And that's it, it's like, doesn't go any further than
It won't go any further than here. If the machine decides it's not suitable for the next process, it won't go anywhere. I place all the tyres that are defected over there. Once it's been denatured, no other company can use these tyres.
Right. You're essentially destroying the tyre so it can't go any further, like. Okay, thank you very much, Paul. Really appreciate your time, pal. How's it going, mate? Just came to see your process and the examination of the tyres.
Okay, so examiners send the tyres down if they require an X-ray process, and this is the machine that I use to check that. So I'll put the tyre in. So basically when that's loaded up, I'll get an image that comes up on the screen, and I'll check as it goes around. It shows me the cables, so I'm just looking for any defects in there, any gaps, any breaks, any ruptures, and then I'll either mark it up for repair or I'll scrap it at this post.
So you could actually say you could go into the next stage as well, even if you do find something.
If within the tolerances, I can send it for repair. If it exceeds those tolerances, then I have to scrap the casing at this post.
And how many tyres do you put through this machine a day average?
On average, I'd say if you were doing both sides all day, you're looking at about 200 rotations. And if you're on single tyres, you're somewhere in the 170 rotations. It takes longer to do one than it does two.
So you've got to be a good strong mind just to be checking, making sure you're not just getting mind numbed.
It's you have to get used to it. You know, when you're watching telly at home and you're watching but you're not watching.
Yeah.
You kind of zone out.
Yeah.
That's the best way to do this. If you try and stare at everything as it goes around all day, you're
going to miss
stuff.
You're going to miss the obvious.
So it's easy. It's better to just let it go past you, and then you'll see stuff as it happens. We don't scrap that many in a day, really, because there's not that many defects to find.
Thank you very much, mate. I really appreciate your time.
Thank you for coming to talk to me.
Aye, catch you, mate. Cheers.
Cheers. See you later.
So, welcome to Casing Input.
This is where tyres come over from CAW. The way it works is we take the ticket off each individual tyre. We check the information on the ticket compared to the tyre, so we check the matricule. He then comes over to these computers on post. It's a traceability system, lots of other information in the system. And this is our flow screen, so it works on the traffic light system. Blue, we've got too many. Green, we're okay. Red, we need some. And amber, we need to start thinking about it. What Steph will do now, he'll take the information, he'll check the ticket against the tyre, and he'll scan that barcode on that ticket. That goes into the system, and it's asking, is that information on that ticket correct to what it's reading in the computer system? Right. So it's a quality check to make sure we're not mixing anything up. He then checks the barcode against the barcode on the tyre. Right. Puts it onto the stand. He'll then take the air turbine with the flat wheel on, and he'll just do a light buff inside, just enough so the label sticks. So we're not brushing through any rubber, we're just giving it a light brush. Takes the RFID, attaches it inside, and off it goes onto the conveyor belt, onto the detreading machine. There's two CDCM machines, or detreading machines. The only difference is, this is semi-automated, that's fully automated. So you've seen the tyres, leave casing input now. Yeah. You come down, and what we've done, we've removed all the tread, all the electric off the sidewall. The reason for doing that is, one, we want to put a brand new band on, and then when we cue the new sidewall on, it looks brand new. Yeah. Also, it gives you this grain, so can you feel the grain on it? And that grip is, when we put our new product on, it gives it something to adhere to, gives it something to grip to.
It's got a smooth surface, it's trying to hold on to it.
The first start of the cycle is, you'll see a little wheel come down. That little wheel is a capture wheel. So what it's doing is measuring the circumferential measurement of the tyre. So before we start taking any rubber off it, it has to make sure it's got that measurement. On the right hand side we've got a cutter blade, and then on the left hand side we've got a set of teeth or rasp. So once we've removed the majority, that rasp puts that grain onto the tread, and it also does that fine bit of tuning to make sure that the circumferential measurement is in the tolerance, basically.
So it's not a blade that's making that?
No, it's a set of teeth, it's a set of rasps. Right. Part of the operator's checks on this machine, we have a scan system, so he measures the sidewall to make sure that the detread is symmetrical. If it isn't, when you put it on your truck, you'll have uneven wear. Yeah. Okay. He checks the pressure of the tyre, he checks the grain of the tyre, make sure the RMA is right. Once he's got all that information, he puts it onto this system here. What Lee does on one tyre on every batch, he measures it manually to ensure that machine is accurate what it's reading. Right. So it's a double check for us to make sure that tyre is good to go to the next process. This machine, it's called a Diablo. It's just a different name for what the ABM is. Nobody's in here, it's all done automatically. The tyre goes onto the sidewall. You can see sidewalled it now. All the lettering's been removed. That'll move on, so it's a continual cycle. Obviously we do different sizes. So that chuck you see on there, what it's sitting on now, because it inflates for about a bar in pressure, just to give it that rigidity when the blades go in.
So it's not...
If it's too soft, then it's a bit too bad.
I would just collapse it and you can get uneven cut.
Uneven cut and everything.
And what a customer get, I doubt a customer gets back is actual casing.
No, we don't do that here.
It'll just be to get what they get back. Like,
We do a certain percentage of them, but we do it for the European market. They're called novelties. And the benefit of that is, the guy who sends it in, he's going to look after that casing because he knows that case is coming back to him. He knows he's looked after the tyres on his...
I could be pretty annoyed if you did motorway work and then you got a quarry tyre back.
Exactly.
You'd be raging.
Exactly. And it's got 4 patches in and TCs in that. So that's the benefit of having an uplifted tyre.
Yeah. That's very impressive bit of kit, that.
That's good. Well, we're going down to PM now.
PM?
Yeah. After detreading, you go down to PM. So this is ice paid job, hardest job, a lot of training, up to 2 years to get a good PM operator. What you're seeing him do now is verify the tyre, You notice that you have a chalk mark on the tyre?
Yeah.
Well, that's so he knows where he started working on it. He'll do a full cycle, then stop again. He does the same on the sidewall, the same on the bead, and the same on the interior, so the whole tyre is checked completely. He's got what we call a set of brushes. He has an hard brush removing the bulk of the rubber. Once he's exposed the rubber and the fabric, he grinds it, and then he'll swap the brush to a softer brush. And what that softer brush does is remove any shine. Because if you've got shine and we start filling that with new rubber, it won't stick.
Right.
So what he's done is removed the rubber. You can see now he's investigated any damaged cables. So he's verified that after he's finished it. That's all good to go now. When it goes next door, the guy logs that tyre with his ticket and it brings all the information up. So you can see how it's all linked all the way through.
Aye.
And then once he's finished the tyre, puts it into the system and off it goes. This consigne is full of tolerances for every damage. Anything he comes across where he doesn't see any day, he can come and he can just check. And then on post, we have this one. This is the bread and butter of the guys. This is the stuff we work on majority of the time, the common defects, the common damages. It's 3 months intense training, 5 days a week. He does classroom work, because he's got to learn that, he has to learn that. But he also has to learn how to do the tools. Yeah. So he needs to be fast, practical, good at quality, but good knowledge retention as well. Yeah, and that's why it's the highest paid job.
You can ask what it does pay, off the record. I feel bad that.
I didn't kiss him about it.
So this is the first post when we come into business unit 2. Any repairs that are done inside the tyre and on the bead have to be painted with a solution, which is a bit like a glue. Anything else we can just go straight on top with hot rubber. When the tyres have been through this post, they're then placed in a drying area for 10 minutes with a timer on, so we know exactly when.
Is that a timer?
Yeah, so the timer.
I thought it was a temperature gauge.
Yeah. The reason we do that is so you'll take them in a normal order. Okay, so the first thing the operator does is he scans the tag that's inside and the repair screen comes up. So this particular one has got a TC. So something like that.
A wee plug like this.
Yeah, so something for like up to 10 millimetres with a penetration and you'll do that repair. And let Ian show you his gun skills. This is malleable rubber. Don't know if you've ever come across it before.
That's not
It's
hot.
a bit warm. So the reason we use that is so the rubber can be manipulated to any shape or size. Now we can't use it because it's contaminated. This is a Micro X machine, and what we're doing here is we're adding a thin layer of tactile rubber for the tread to stick to. When it gets to the middle part, the rubber goes through, feeds into an extruder, and then it applies it to the tyre. What this has is a minimum and a maximum tolerance, and the weight that's laying is in the middle. So obviously the last tyre was good because it was green. It's green, it'll go onto the belt and onto the next post.
So how many layers will this apply? Like how many, is it just one layer or is there a few layers of like new rubber applied?
Oh no, so we call these wraps. So what it'll do, it'll lay a very thin layer. There's more than you think under there. There's probably about 40 or 50 wraps under
right,
there.
so it's layered like?
Yeah, layers.
Yeah.
The reason is it's very tactile, and so we can, when we put the tread on, it sticks. Okay, so this is where we're going to add the tread. So first of all, the rubber comes in, wig-wag this is called.
Is that basically the same kind of compound as the other?
Okay, different, totally different compound. This is a much harder compound because it's a tread. And you're probably looking at half a ton there, full one of those. Probably do about 40 tyres. Like before, the rubber's going in, it's heating up, manipulating it. And as you can see, when it's come through,
so
you see it comes out in what we call a feed. So it's like the GLI machine, but bigger.
I was thinking the way that was going to get fed, like it was going to get heated up and put on as a big,
Yeah.
like a big rug.
Right,
That's what I thought was happening
now,
there. I didn't realise it kind of gets cut and fed.
If you look at the tyre through there, you can see the process is virtually the same.
Just thicker layer.
Just more rubber.
Is that tyre being inflated at the same time?
Yes.
Like, so it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah,
flexing while it's being applied?
there's enough on there for give it a decent profile to apply the rubber. So again, we calculate the weight that's added from the last weight over there.
So you know what way it'll be.
Exactly.
Yes, right. Is every tyre, because every tyre has to have a certain tolerance when it gets shaved
Yeah.
down. It's got to be between.
Minimum and maximum. Okay, so we'll move to the next post.
Yeah, done.
I wanted to show you this part because it's the robot. It'll print a barcode out for that tyre
Right.
that gives us the identification, but also it'll print us what's called the matricule number, which is another form of identification. It can tell us when a tyre was been through each post, which operator, so it's like gives us a total history.
So this whole section's for this whole.
Yeah.
Just to put a wee stamp on it.
Yeah, but it's a very important part again for traceability. And then off it goes, ready for the next one. This is a curing line. We've pretty much timed this perfectly because there's the tyre that's been cured and here's the before. Tyre will go in the press. If you look at the top there, the top shell has all the writing, all the sizes, everything on it. Identical to that, there's one underneath. These here are called sectors, which has the tread patterning. When the lid closes and it gets up to temperature, the pressure will mould the sectors and it'll give us that tread. There's more science to it than that, but I'm just trying.
Bring it down to my level.
Yeah, it's my level as well, mate. Again, this one's quite warm, but you can see the tread pattern there on that one.
Not like a cold press where you're adding the tread. This is your pressing
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's why we put the membrane goes in, heats it up, of course then rubbers can become malleable. Again, so
So it's basically like a brand new tyre.
the right time of time, the tyre's coming out. Okay, so he knows exactly when each tyre's coming out. Because they're not all the same cure times. You could have one opening up there, and then you could have one opening right down there. That's why on this job, in an 8-hour day, you'll probably do something around 15,000, 16,000 steps.
How many tyres would you averagely try and get through? What would be a good day? What would be a bad day?
A small tyre, you'd probably get 14 or 15 per shift.
Right.
So you're looking at between 40 and 45 a day off one press.
So say like there's a bad batch of defected tyres, would you be able to go and say that came from that machine? Because that'll have its own.
But also we'd be able to look at the traceability system with the barcode and the matricule number. Yeah, we could just put it in
to make sure it wasn't a sort of worker or a machine or just right through to find out.
Yeah, we could find out every operator who's touched it from the beginning to the end.
Oh, pressure that.
Yeah, yeah.
High standards though.
High standards,
High
correct.
standards. What are they?
So that's a cold cure process.
Oh, that's the one where you put
the tread on the outside.
I didn't know this was the process of how this was all done.
Oh, right, okay.
I literally thought it was going to be, because I've seen it in the video, so I can't wait to see when they put the
tread on and roll it round and stuff like that.
I didn't realise when it was coming to this, it was
Mitchell,
makes it more interesting, because I think a lot of people think we're retreading.
They just put a tread on and glue the end and stuff like that.
And that's it, that's where you see a delamination sometimes. So it'd be good if people could see, no, this is...
Yeah, they're just different way. Michelin do it totally different than all other companies to make it, And then we've got Jason, the operator. What he's doing is checking everything he can see, aspect-wise, shape-wise, blister-wise. He's looking for everything and everything. So from a 1 mil to a big repair or a misrepair or even something, any anomaly. So even if there's a wear indicator missing, like on the sidewall or on the tread, even that will be put out. It checks inside and outside now. So because it's been through the curing, cleans it up a little bit inside the cover. So we might see something they've missed.
Probably from that heat, something might have developed.
Yeah, so the heat will make a blister, obviously. Yeah. So a blister might appear now because it's hot. That's the process of cooling down, give it a chance to cool down. So that's why it's that. So they come round the belt, it's got a defect on it. The operator that works on here, he'll eject it. What he'll do is he'll find what's wrong with the tyre. And that there, that's the defect.
Just that there?
Yeah, just that bit there. So what he'll do is this chap will repair it in here.
So that can still be saved?
Yeah. So it's an easy one that is, nice little one that is. It's because it's got a new rubber in it and the rubber's been squashed from the curing and everything, so, but that hasn't got to go through the process again. So that's a durable one as well, so a good tyre that is. It's still warm. Still warm, yeah, yeah. So yeah, and then we put it over there. Yeah. It's sort of repair shop, but we don't do many. Right. Because there's not many defects as such really, which is a good thing. And then obviously this is your next process. And you can hear the bolts piling through it.
How many volts is that?
50,000. Some power in there. See why it's caged up. If it was bad, it'd mark it up with the white, with the red chalk on the sidewall. So this is an inflation. That's mainly for the bigger tyres. This is for the small tyres. So this is all rim size. So we check on the rims. He's zapped it in there. Gives him his size. Going to inflate it on there. Set his rims up. Closes the door, locks, and then inflates the 10 bar now. Bigger to 10 bar, and then they deflate. He put it in that fast.
Yeah. Oh,
so it's just like shocks it. Yeah, so it shocks all the sidewalls. So if there's anything anybody's missed, it'll just blow. Yeah, and it goes with a bang. Every tyre and every machine's done the exact same.
Guys, I've had a fantastic day here at the Michelin Remix factory in Stoke. I've learned all the difference between hot and cold curing. We call it a remix tyre, and the complete difference, the benefits, the pros, the cons. I've seen how eco-friendly this way is because you're getting a second life out of a tyre. They use everything of the tyre, nothing gets wasted, everything gets recycled. If the tyre can be reused, it gets shredded and processed and recycled into other materials, and there's no waste in the process of retreading it. They reuse all the bits, stick it in the machine, and the result is basically a brand new tyre and the best sidewall in the business. And I picked myself up a wee souvenir. Cheers, Michelin. Oost!